How's it going, everyone? Today I'm doing a video for you that I'm hoping will be super helpful for a bunch of you. I'm going to be showing you how to make a pretty basic gathering, harvesting outpost to automate the collection of resources and materials. This is something I've spent quite a few hours getting to grips with understanding, and I think it's a pretty important part of the game because you do need a lot of resources, not just for building but for modifying as well, and you can earn credits off of it later on when you start to get a bit more advanced and build these cargo links like you can kind of see I'm standing on here. This is one of my outposts here, and I'll be showing you how to make a very basic sort of version of this on pretty much any planet. It's more the method and the materials that you're going to need that I think are going to be super important. I'm just going to tab out quickly, guys, to show you. I'm doing a little checking of things and gathering up all the materials that we're going to need to make this outpost. So for this harvest outpost, I'm going to show you how to build. It's going to basically involve having 2 boxes for storage, 2 extractors, because 2's better than 1, and then 3 solar power sources, and these are the total resources we're going to need. So if you actually want to see the resources in-game, we can go through them. These resources are for material harvesting, not gas harvesting, so there will be slight differences depending on the solar energy of the planet that you're actually on, because it fluctuates how much power they give you. So 3 is quite good, but you might need more or less, so you could save resources or need more. And if you're making gas, it's a different storage container, so it requires different resources. So this is for material storage in terms of the actual items that you will need in game. But again, it's more the method. But if you plan to harvest something like iron or aluminum, then this is going to be incredibly helpful because you do need a lot of aluminum and a lot of iron. We're going to go and set up an iron farm. You will also need a lot of helium, which is a gas, especially if you want to do cargo links, but that's getting a bit more advanced. So we're going to focus on a sort of basic beginners harvesting outpost to get you guys started off, which I really wish someone could explain this to me at the beginning. So these are the resources. Make sure you have these if you want to copy exactly what I'm doing, but otherwise we'll go through the method. And you can see here, this is just one of my many camps. I might show you guys a couple other of my setups, but we have a little indoor space with some buildings and crew members assigned. We have some storage over here, some harvesters over here, power sources over there, and it's all pretty self-sufficient and good. So let's start it off. What you want to first do is find a planet where you want to harvest. So, sorry for the cut there, I got attacked by some pirates as I was teleporting, so let's try this again. I'm going to be showing you an outpost that I'm making, Alpha Centauri, because New Atlas is here, it's a great location, and this planet, Zachem, at least for me, has an absolute ton of resources on it, as you can see, which is, nice, the more the better, especially if you can get it in range of your outpost. I'm going to be focusing on getting some iron here, though. So what we're going to want to do is basically jump to this planet and then scan it from orbit and then find the sort of zone that we want to land based on the heat map of the resources that we can see. So we're going to be going for iron, so that's what we're going to basically try and find here. So once we're in the orbit of the planet, we open up the map and we can do a scan here. You can see that iron is going to be this sort of, I don't know, browny red color. So let's go and just click, and then we're just going to land in these mountains, which will hopefully have a bunch of iron for us. So we're going to land here, we're going to get out of our ship, and then we're going to start scanning to find an area that's rich in iron. Of course, do this with whatever resource you like. I recommend doing it for helium as a gas and aluminum as a material first. You do also need a lot of iron, that's what I'm doing here. But ultimately, you could do it for any resource, and the more resources the better, because you do need a lot of them. So here we are on the actual surface. I'm going to open my scanner up, and boom, we landed in the heat map of the iron, and you can see there is a ton of iron around us, so that's pretty good for me. Some planets do have extreme conditions, and then you can't build an outpost on them unless you level up your skill tree enough to get there. It's more of a late game thing, so if there is extreme conditions on the planet, you will have to find a different planet. But you can see here, we have a bunch of iron. You can actually just have a look around. There's also some veins over here that can be manually mined with some cobalt. We might as well just scan them while we're here. Nickel. Ooh. Just an absolute ton of resources on this planet. It seems like I've kind of got a bit lucky here. But for actually harvesting them with an outpost, you need to find a ground area that's highlighted like this iron area is. You can see the highlights here. So we're going to, in our scanner, press the R key. You can see I have 4 outposts left. This will bring this up, which allows me to plonk it down pretty much anywhere. You can see in the top left, it will show what resources are available to harvest. So unless I only really want iron here, but you could scour the sort of whole map and find an area where placing this down would give you as many resources as you can, and you could be harvesting a ton of materials in one outpost. But for me, I'm just going to plonk it down here and get some iron going. Now, when you're building, you can actually toggle your view with the V key if you're playing PC. And this is really good because then you go basically into a bird's eye isometric view, and you can see and just place things a lot easier without actually having to move around. But you can also see in first person, there's this sort of perimeter, which is as far as you can build in this outpost, but it's very generous, to be honest, so you don't really need to worry too much about that. But I will go to this this nice aerial view because it makes things so much easier. So we have all those resources that we should actually... Oh wait, I need to pick them up off of Barrett here. I think I've still got him holding them, so I put them in his inventory because my inventory is super cluttered, and I wanted to show you guys the actual resources in game. So let's take all these resources so that we can build our outpost. There we go. So if you accidentally leave build mode, the thing that you can do to go back into build mode is to go up to the outpost and just press E, and boom, we're in build mode. We'll go into our nice viewpoint. So with all of the resources that I've showed you guys what to bring, what this will allow you to make is 2 of these extractors. I'm still testing and finding the correct placement for this, so do let me know if you have any extra tips in the comments down below. But you need to put it in the colored area where the resource is. You can't put it outside. I don't know if it matters if it's near the edge or if the whole circle of the extractor needs to be inside. I'm not really too sure. That's still something that I'm figuring out, but we'll just plonk these down anywhere that we really like. So we got enough resources to make 2 of these. And what we'll also do is get a bunch of solar arrays. So we should have enough for 3 solar arrays. That's what I basically brought with me in terms of the resources. So we'll just plonk these down. You can see at the very bottom, we now have a total of 12 out of the 10 power needed for our extractors. These solar arrays do fluctuate in how much power they give you. More sunny planets give more, less sunny planets give less. You can also put wind turbines, which can sometimes be better. You can see this only gives me 3, so it's actually worse. And there are fueled generators that require helium, so if you have helium on the planet, you can harvest that, feed it into a fuel reactor, and that will give you 20 power, which is quite good as well. You also unlock more building options as you invest skill points and research things, and then you can build more advanced stuff, such as these robots that also increase your production rate, which is pretty nice too. But as well as these builders, but this is all more advanced stuff. So considering that we're extracting like a physical resource and not a gas or a liquid, we want to have solid storage, which is the same as the resources I outlined that you want to bring. So I basically have enough for us to have 2. And the reason that I advise having 2 is because if it fills up, you can link them so that they overflow into another one, and you want to come back here every so often. You don't want it to be full up because you're just missing out on basically your extra resources. Let's have a look if we can build anything else. You can obviously build down different structures. What you can do is put down some structures and then put some of these crafting benches inside. You could put some defenses, and you could also put down some crew stations, which will effectively allow you to assign crew members here and increase the production rate once again. And then later on, you can go way more advanced, like you saw in my outpost at the beginning, and place one of these cargo links that allows you to link together outposts to export and import things between them, but that's getting a bit more complicated. We don't need to worry about that for this one. So we've actually got the very basics set up here. So what I'm going to do is, let's do this in first person, make it a bit easier. When you're in build mode, you can look at a harvester or really anything that can input or output or store items, and you can create an output link. For me, it's mouse 2. This makes like a wire here, and because this is harvesting resources, I can have it output into this box here. The same for this one, and I can link it to the same box. And then what I can do is link this box to the box next to it, so anything that goes in this box will go in that one. So it's basically gonna fill up this one, move it into this one. When this one's filled up, this one will then stay full on its own. And you can actually see, if I remove myself from build mode, there's nothing in this one because I've linked it to this one, and this is already slowly filling up with iron. Obviously, the more extractors that you have, the more that this is going to fill up, and the quicker it will fill up. But as a very, very basic outpost to farm resources, this is pretty much what you want to have going for yourself. So let's just go in aerial view again. You can see here, we have our sources of power. Don't have to link to anything. We have our harvesters that are powered by our solar panels, and they're outputting into a box, which is feeding to another box, so they will both fill up over time. And what you could do with this very basic resource harvesting outpost is do this in a bunch of different planets for a bunch of different resources, and then jump between them and pick up the resources as you play, and you don't have to buy those resources, and you'll never be missing out on the things that you actually need. So this is a very simple, basic harvesting outpost, but it's actually quite daunting when you first open up these menus and try and figure things out. So I really hope this helps you guys. So let me show you one of my other outposts so you can kind of get an idea for how things work. This is on the moon of the planet where New Atlantis is. And this, for me, actually has a ton of helium on it, which you will need for several things, including linking those outposts together, which gets more advanced. So you will want a lot of helium later on. And you can see here what I've done is very similar, except in this place I'm harvesting both helium and I think it's aluminium, actually. So if we close that, you can see aluminum here, 150, coming up to 150. My storage boxes are getting quite full here. So let's go into the builder and let's go in the aerial view. As you can see here, this is where the helium deposits are. So I'm using extractors for the gas, linking them into the gas storage boxes here. It's all linked together. One of them's feeding into a generator because there's not, I don't have enough solar panels. The generator was easier to make, and I'm harvesting it here, so why not? But these will fill up with helium over time. Meanwhile, all of these extractors here will fill up will harvest aluminum and then fill up these boxes here. So this is kind of like a 2-in-1 outpost. This is a more advanced version. And what you can actually see is I do also have a slightly indoor area where I have some crew members assigned, which is how, again, things get a bit more advanced as you go along. So you want to start off by learning how you extract those resources like I've just taught you, and you want to kind of evolve that into more and more things. So you can decorate the space, you can put down these crafting stations, assign your crew members like you can see I've done here. You can even build the robots that increase the yield that you're getting. And the way that you actually assign crew members is by going to your ship and then to your crew, and here you can see you can assign them to your ship or your outposts, and you can see outpost engineering, outpost management. Outpost engineering is going to be really good for increasing the yield of your different outposts. But that is pretty much the basics of how to make a harvesting or extracting outpost. I hope this really helps you guys out. I did have to learn this quite a lot, and let me know if you want a more advanced guide going on how you connect the outposts together. I'm still learning and figuring that out, but I've actually just got it to start working on my outpost that you saw at the beginning of the video. So let me know if you want to know more. And of course, share your tips as well down in the comments below when it comes to outpost building. And make sure to check out the 2 videos on screen now and let us know what you think of them. We have so much Starfield stuff coming your way soon, you won't want to miss out. So check out these 2 videos and then tell us what you think in the comments down below.